good start.
Okay, for those of y'all, and I love y'all know that are telling Amber to try to go back and get her husband. No, she should not try to get her husband back. And Amber needs to take accountability for her part in this situation. And I'm not talking about just the affair, not just the infidelity, but she also needs to take accountability for the fact that she is the reason that she cannot keep a man, because she lets her friends get entirely too close to the people that she's dating. So she needs to take accountability for that. So let's talk about that. So when it comes down to you meeting somebody and you introduce them to your family, you introduce them to your friends, and you introduce them to your job, you better be careful with that. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be jealous of your relationship and try to come between it. And a lot of people focus more on the women outside than the women they're close to. Now, I've been friends with most of my friends for over 30 years. And it's been a long time since we've been friends. Some people I've been friends with about 20 something years. So, what I want people to understand is when I go to somebody's house, I'm not dressed a certain way. I don't represent myself a certain way because I just don't. I have enough respect for the people that I'm friends with not to go there. So I just want people to understand that when it comes down to these situations, you got to be very careful when it comes to the people you introduce your man to and who you introduce your woman to. So I do understand what y'all are saying, but at the same time, Amber got to realize this falls on her, and I think a lot of y'all are not grasping that part. So I get the fact. Don't get me wrong, I do. I hate to see anybody going through something like this, regardless. But when you allow people to come and take what's yours, then that falls on you. There's no point in her trying to fight to get this man back. It's just better that she just moves on from him and she just finds somebody new that is not, him. I just think that she should have never married him in the first place, being that she cheated on him with Wayne. I just don't think that's what she should have done. But at the end of the day, this is where we at. And the fact that she told Brittany that she needed to get away from Kelvin, making it seem like she wasn't interested in Kelvin and that she needed space. Well, guess who got him now? Who got him now would be, and I quote, it will now be, what's the name? Now, what's the name got him? So, like I said, I get it. I understand. But like I said, at the same time, this is what happens when you decide you want to tell somebody you're not interested or you're leaving somebody alone, and then it comes out that you end up losing that person to that same friend. So again, you can't get too comfortable. Ever can you get comfortable? Nobody's gonna allow you, in all honesty, to get too comfortable, because if you get too comfortable, they're gonna steal your man. And that's just the reality of it. They are going to steal your man. So does it make it right what Brittany did or what Shayla did? No. But at the same time, we have to take responsibility for the things that we allow to happen. And that's just the bottom line of it. So even though, Amber was doing right in her marriage, that don't mean nothing at this point. The point is you gave Shayla the ammunition that she needed to steal your husband. And that's just the reality of it. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. But like I said, you can't just go out here and do something and think that there's no consequences, and the consequences not going to come back and bite you, because trust me, they will. So I see it from both sides. But in the end, her fighting for her husband wouldn't even be worth it. Because every time she look at that baby, she going to sit there and she going to be thinking about Shayla and whether or not he's with Shayla or not. And it just isn't worth her doing that. It's best for her to just move on and, you know, just be happy within herself. And her meeting somebody that none of them don't know, somebody she can get to know without, you know, Brittany or Ernestine or Shayla or Sunny or any of that. You know, somebody that is just only on to her. And I think that's what she needs to do. I think the next person she meets, she don't need to tell nobody. Nobody, unless they got a man. Like if she tell Erica, that's one thing. Erica got a man, so she ain't got to worry about her. So that's not something she needs to worry about. Who she need to worry about again is Brittany. But like I said, I'm really disappointed in Ernestine because Ernestine should have took a picture. That's what she should have did. Took a picture. Because that way Amber would have had evidence that this is what was going on. So like I said, at the end of the day, you know, I just feel like that people need to understand that when it comes down to who you date, what you have, sometimes you just got to keep quiet and not say nothing to nobody. And whatever, you know, whoever you choose to tell, you better be prepared if they go back and say something. Because like I said, I don't think Anthony would have continued messing with Shayla if Amber would have never, you know, if Amber would have never slept with Wayne. Or even that told her. Not only that, like I said, Amber also had to take responsibility for the fact she sent her husband home by himself versus him staying there. If she'd have let him stay there, none of this would have never happened. But she don't know how it started. Wait till she find that out. Wait till she find out that Shayla, right after she left her, went over there straight to the house and had sex in that bed. She don't know that yet. I don't know why that has not came up yet, but we need to basically get down to the get down and see. That's what I'm saying. I wish that they would have went through that when it came to the counselor, and that way they could have had, you know, this conversation about this, and that way it would have been, you know, out in the open. But that ain't how this is going, unfortunately. So I'm not really surprised by this, but like I said, in the end, you know, this situation just is what it is, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's sad that this situation is happening, but it is. So, like I said, we'll have to just see how this play out and how it go and how it turns out. But I just think that Amber needs to go through this divorce and move forward. I think she needs to leave Atlanta. I think she needs a new start. I think she needs to go like Miami or Texas or somewhere and just move on away from all of this. That way she can move forward from everything and she can be happy and meet some new people. But then again, Texas HIV is at all-time high. So I wouldn't say move to Texas. I would say probably move to California, move to New York, go to Seattle, somewhere like that. Or even go out of the country. I just think that Amber needs to travel. She needs to see the world. She needs to see what else is out there and just live her life and enjoy her life. That's it. I wouldn't be sitting around here, especially knowing that I'm going to stay somewhere that every time I look around, I got to see Shayla and Anthony every time I turn around. So no, I just feel like she just needs to move forward and be happy. That's just my honest thoughts on that. But at the end of the day, like I said, I know for y'all are rooting for Amber. I'm rooting for her too. I really want her to win. I really do. And I hope that she does. But like I said, sometimes we got to walk away from the things that just are not good for us, and the people that are not good for us, and end up with people better. So like I said, when you change, when you level up, you become a better person. So like I said, if Amber would have never said anything to Brittany at all about him at all, just got to know him and would have stayed at the restaurant, that restaurant probably not only could have survived, but like I said, what was the point of them investing just for them to turn around and end up closing it down? Didn't understand that part either. But then again, like I said, the way that Country Wayne and them be doing stuff, I don't even nowhere near understand. It's like they do things and then they'll turn around and change something else. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, it was just nice been seeing her and Kelvin together.